I saw Leanne do this video. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. She does beauty and fashion and home decor type of stuff. On the beauty side, the video is my fantasy Sephora shopping spree kind of thing. I'm doing it with art, obviously. So I went on Blick Art Supplies, and I fantasy shopped. Basically, it's if money wasn't an issue, if you had $1,000 to spend on art supplies, what would you get? A lot of people put $1,000 limit, but I'm not putting any limit to my fantasy cart. It got expensive. The first thing that came to mind when thinking about unlimited art supplies is one of those super expensive easel, like the huge easel, the super sturdy ones where you could put a really big canvas. It was only $1,606. No big deal. And when shopping through the easels, I saw this really cool easel, the Cabello Art Horse Portable Bench. I had seen an easel like this in school way back when, a few years ago in the university. I had used one, it was metal. It was a lot wonkier than that. But it reminded me that because you're straddling this bench, you can get really close to the painting. It's a really interesting and comfortable way to work. I remember it. And it's also portable. If money wasn't an issue, I would get one of those as well. This one was only $287. It was a steal, so I had to get it. Naturally, after shopping for easels, I thought storage. I saw this amazing paper storage cabinet. Ooh, I've been dreaming about those for so long. You know, the ones with like a lot of shelving for putting papers? A lot of what I do is like super quick exploring, a lot of abstract stuff, and sometimes I have like 30 pieces of paper all around my studio. I usually have to put it on the floor for it to dry. There's dust and hair that goes on it. Lennox steps on it sometimes. I really need this cabinet, so I'm fantasy buying it. And when it comes to pure art supply, one thing that came to mind that I really wanted was Arches watercolor paper. That paper is so expensive. It's like $50 for a pad or something. I've been wanting to try it for so long, but I never ever buy it because it's too expensive, but it looks like painting on like a magical cloud of impossible wonders. I really want to try the paper. So I got 2 large tablets, a hot press and a cold press. Can't wait to fantasy try it. Naturally, Arches paper brought me to canvases. I've never painted on a super large format and I really wanted to try it. So I got, I'm speaking as if I'm really buying this stuff, but honestly, when shopping with fantasy money, it's almost as good as the real thing. I know that at the end you don't get it, but you still get the fun feelings of like all the possibilities, you know what I mean? And I discovered a few things that I actually want that are reasonable. Anyways, it was fun to do. So large canvases, 4 by 5 foot, pretty large. It came in a pack of 5, only $272, had to take it. And in browsing in like, I think the new arrival section, I discovered this pouring set by PBO, you know, like pouring paint, abstract paint, the pouring technique. I've been watching those videos a lot. It looks so satisfying to just pour paint and see it come together, but it looks so messy and also kind of wasteful. Like you waste a lot of paint, not judging. I'm just saying the messiness for me combined with wasting a lot of paint felt overwhelming. I don't know why. And I just never tried it, but I do want to try it. I know that I'll try it at some point, but probably on a smaller scale. I don't know, I'll figure something out. But this pouring set came to about $100, I think, and everything was in it. I think the silicone that you have to put in, all types of colors, the little containers. It was just a nice little kit. Had to get it. I had to fantasy get it. Oh my God, I just saw there's one thing that's outrageous coming up. Anyways, the next thing is probably so boring to you, but it's very exciting to me. I studied graphic design in college and we worked with Pantone colors. I don't know if you know, but Pantone is like a standard of colors in the world of design and printing. So it's basically a professional swatch set with all the colors, the official colors. And I saw this Pantone guide. It even has the conversion from CMYK to RBG. It's not gonna mean anything to you, but it's basically, it helps you pick the exact shade that you want, knowing that when it prints, it goes to the printer, it'll come back to that exact color, because what you see on the screen on Photoshop, it's never the color that's going to be printed. So it's a way to have an exact match of colors. And I've done album covers for David. We did 4 album covers so far, and it would have been so practical to know the exact color. It's also very inspiring to have these swatches to get like a color story and inspiration for painting. Currently, I do it the super cheap way. I go to Home Depot and I take all of the paint swatches they have, bring it home, and kind of play around with it. That's what I do. Yeah, and the Pantone guide is $200. That's why I never got it. All right, because this is a fantasy situation, we live in a fantasy world where money is not an issue. We can have everything we want. I thought I would get a cheeky little potter's wheel. It was only $1,000. You know what's funny though? It's funny, but I don't know if it's funny, but there was a few potter wheels, different models, but even with fantasy money, where money is not even an issue, I felt guilty spending fantasy money. Some of those I think were $2,000, but I was like, no, I can't do that, it's too much. So I took the cheapest one. I'm freaking lame. Come on. Anyways, just thought I would share it. My reasoning was, you think it would be really fun to do it because I really like nice mugs and plates or whatever, but maybe you wouldn't like it. So don't spend 2,000 fantasy dollars on it. You don't know. I think I need to dream bigger. Come on, what's wrong with me? To go along with that, I took some clay. Then I was thinking about oil pastel, because I've done a bunch of oil pastel videos on my channel, and I was thinking, do I want anything different with oil pastel? And honestly, the answer is not really, because I have so many sets, I've reviewed so many of them, that I'm not necessarily dreaming for more oil pastel. But that was before I saw this. It's those giant Syndia sticks. This is the difference between a regular and a giant Syndia stick. It's huge. The fact that it's oversized is so much more appealing. And I've used it in a large format portrait. As I don't know if you remember the John Lennon and Paul McCartney portraits. I used the giant Syndia sticks on it. It was so much fun to use because you can really go big, super expressive. You're not afraid to use it up. It doesn't break on you because it's very sturdy and it's bigger. Those sticks are, I think, like $10 or $15 each color. But they're so nice. So I took a set of 36 colors for only $291. This next thing is super modest. I could actually take it. It's a golden A to Z set. The golden A to Z acrylic set. It's basically a basic starter kit for a beginner or for someone that wants to try it. The reason I'm interested in it is because I've always worked with Liquitex, always since school, just because I don't know why. I think a teacher recommended it and then I just went with it, didn't question it. Recently, I discovered the golden open acrylics, changed my world, and I've been wanting to compare golden and Liquitex. I feel like they would be essentially the same because they're both really high quality paints, but I still would like to try golden. The curious artist in me wants to try everything. Speaking of paints, I wanted to try a really good quality watercolor paint because I think I have a couple colors that are high quality, but I have a bunch that are super low quality. So I think that this Daniel Smith paint is pretty good. I don't know much about watercolor, but I think it's a high quality watercolor. So there's this set of, I think 12, super modest, $75, 12 colors. no big deal. One thing that I never talked about much, but I've been wanting to try a lot, is super quality gouache. I haven't worked extensively with gouache. I've tried at least one portrait with it. I really like the result. I like how super matte it is, and I like the fact that you can reactivate gouache the way you would watercolor, but that gouache is very opaque. So I took the most fine and quality gouache I could find. It's the Old Bane Artist Quality Set of 24. $192. Loving it. Now I have a few things that are actually not crazy expensive and would be useful. One of which is a glass palette. I've seen people use glass palettes before. I have one that is made of like a super slick plastic material. I think it maybe is made with acrylic. It works really well, but I would want a bigger one, and I would want it to be glass to be more sturdy. I picked a glass palette that was 16 by 20, so it's pretty large, and it was only $50. 50 fantasy dollars, can't pass it up. The other thing that I saw while browsing was this paint tube wringer, you know, to squeeze every last drop of your super expensive paint out of the tube. Actually, this tool is very useful. I've never tried it, but I feel like I need one. At least I want one, and it's like $25, so I'm gonna get one for reals soon. The next thing that I saw that I really want for real in real life is $20, and it's a clip to hold a reference photo. I didn't even know it existed. Doesn't seem like weird science or anything. I should have thought of it, but it feels like it could be super useful to clip it on your tabletop to have your reference holding up. I know it's not that useful if your reference is on a tablet or whatever, but I print a lot of my reference photos on paper just because the reflection of anyways, whatever. I think it would be useful. I think I'm gonna get one for reals as well. The next thing is a bit weird. It's kind of funny. I don't know. You judge. It's a velour velvet canvas. It used to be very in vogue, I think in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. You use charcoal or dry pastel on it, and it's actually velour, velvet. It's like a fabric. And because dry pastel is super powdery, it really holds on it, and it gives like a very unique texture and finish. I'm not saying that I've seen works that I really loved with velour paper, but I'm saying that I really want to try it because it looks fun to try. I have no idea if I would like it, but I would like to try it. And of course, I had to fantasy get a $25 Bob Ross Chia Pet for inspiration. And that's it. That's my fantasy cart of $5,688. Fantasy dollars, that is. Could have been worse. Could have been better. It was so much fun. If you're so inclined, let me know in the comments the one thing that you kind of dream about, that if you had a little bit more money or a lot more money, the one thing that you would get without hesitation. Because for me, a lot of this stuff is that it's crazy expensive and I would never get it unless I win the lottery, because I could do without. Even if it would be amazing to get it, way too expensive, I'm not getting it. If you want to smile a little more, you can go watch this one. I think it's a funny one. I like it, but I'm biased. I'll see you in just a few days for another one. Thanks for watching. Bye.